GUI Techniques of MIDAS Civiil. In this session, we will introduce the features and the basic skills of using MIDAS Civiil GUI. By becoming familiar with MIDAS Civiil interface, the user will confidently build a model and perform the numerical analysis. And we have a plan to cover the following sessions. Lesson 2, geometry modeling using various functions. Lesson 3, how to define material and section properties. Lesson 4, how to define and apply various permanent loads. These courses will be effective for the engineers who has just started with MIDAS Civiil. If you have any question during this webinar, please let me know by the question board on the dialogue. Then I will answer you after finishing what I prepared. Okay, let's get started. Here are the contents for today's lesson. First of all, we will learn how to navigate the model using various graphic interface functions. Secondly, there are various options to select nodes and elements. There are some functions which are useful when we have a complex model. Third, we can activate or deactivate nodes and elements. We use this function when we modify the model partially and see the results for a particular member. And then we will have a look at various display options. The user can modify or change the representation form of graphics, colors, fonts, characters, or symbols displayed in the model window. Change the display option will make your report and presentation look great. And I will talk about how to use tree menu. Sorry. Tree menu is a powerful tool when we check input data of the analysis model. Tree menu consists of items used for modeling, loading input, analysis, and design. User can adapt to this tree structure very quickly because it is similar to the menu structure of Windows Explorer. Lastly, I will use some display options of construction stage. Okay, let's view the model in various ways. Now, let's go into MIDAS Civiil. So I will click MIDAS Civiil icon on the top left corner and click Open Project. I will open Simple Beam. You can download the model files from our website. This is the Simple Beam model for today's training. Now we will start learning basic interface functions. I'm gonna select the unit before I begin. So we can change the unit at any time. For example, we can input material properties with Newton and millimeters, and input loadings with kilonewton and meters. This is up to you. There are 3 ways to navigate the model using the mouse. First is pressing the mouse wheel to move the model, like here. Second is pressing Control key and the mouse wheel at the same time in order to rotate the model. Third is scrolling the mouse wheel in order to zoom in or zoom out the model. We can also use some icons on the right side. At first, we can zoom in on a specific area by zoom window. Here is zoom window. So as you see, model was zoomed in by window. And by this icon, the entire model fits into the working window. Instead of using mouse, we can magnify or shrink the size by this icon. Zoom in, zoom out. Please click the rest of the icons one by one by yourself. And then let's view model from 4 directions using the side view icon. By ISO view, we can view diagonally, and also it is possible to view from top, right, front. Here are the slides that I demonstrated. We will upload this model file and the presentation file on our website. So please follow the steps again after watching this webinar. Now I will select some nodes and elements. We can select all by this button. Select all here. So selected elements will be highlighted like this. If you want to select single element, select single icon here. So you can select one by one. You can check selected nodes and elements here. So under contrary, if we note the node number or element number, we can select it by entering directly here. So, enter. We can check selected nodes. And then by unselect all here, all elements are unselected. Select all, unselect all. Select by window functions here. Select by window. This works in a different way. We will click 2 times to create the window. If we click the left side to the right side, only the elements and nodes within the window will be selected. And instead, if we click the right side and to the left side, the elements which are crossing the window will be also selected. If we want to select particular elements of a model at once, use this icon, select by polygon. Select by polygon. Let's create polygons by clicking multiple times. So, like this. And at the end, double click. So you can select the nodes and elements in the polygon. Not only in the icon menu, there are various ways to select or unselect in the upper menu. So I'd like to try one by one, and if you need help, you can go to the online manual by pressing F1. So you can see online manual here, and we can search any items. For example, select. You can see online manual in detail. Now I will talk about the activation. Active means that only activated elements are left in model, and the inactivated elements would be hidden on the screen. For example, I will select some elements. And after clicking select by window, select 3 elements. If you click active here, we can display only 3 elements. Getting back to the original state by active all here. So after selecting 3 elements, if you click inactivate, those elements will disappear and we can see remaining elements. When only activated elements are there, you can inverse activation so that hidden elements will be shown exchanging with activated elements. After all work is done, all elements can appear again by active all. Now, let me explain display option. There are a lot of options in the display options depending on what to display, but I cannot handle everything at this time. But I'm gonna show some examples. At first, hidden options. Here, hidden means that you can set whether or not to show the section and thickness of elements. Taking this simple beam as an example, this beam is modeled as a 1D beam element. That is, this beam is modeled by combining 1D line and section data. This is section data. And if we switch on hidden, the element originally seen as a line became a 3-dimensional shape, including a section data. And then we can display the modeled elements shrunk by a fixed ratio at nodes. Here, by this shrink option. This function is very useful when verifying the connection conditions of nodes and elements. When shrink option is off, the beam appears to be as a continuous element. And if you switch on shrink, we can see each divided element by each node. This beam might be considered as one beam, but it actually consists of 10 elements. If you want to know each node number, switch on display node number. Display node number. And we can also see each element number by display element numbers. I will cover in another part later. Anyway, if we get to know these numbers, we can easily input some items to nodes and or elements. Now, I will talk about display icon. We can see a small monitor shaped icon in the upper bar. In this command, we can check on particular symbol or data we want to display on the screen. For example, if we check on node, the nodes of element appear on the screen. If we check on node, we can see nodes. And in the element tab, check on local axis to display in elements. Okay. As you see, X, Y, and Z axes are shown by color. The analysis results such as member force, stress, and deformation should be determined according to these axes. I'll explain them in more detail later in lesson 2, which is about geometry modeling. Okay, in the load tab, we can display any applied loads with the load value. As you see in the tree menu, we can already have a nodal load and beam load. So check on beam load and load value and hit apply. The beam load appears as we defined. What if we check on display by selection here? Display by selection. Let me try. Beam loads disappear on the screen. But if we select some elements, the relevant loads appear again by selection. Okay, there is a display option icon right next to display icon. This is display, this is display option. Display option is used to modify or change the representation form of graphics, characters, or symbols displayed on the model. All of these items are up to you. For example, in the color tab, if you set background black and hit apply, the color of the element would be changed according to the black background. If we want to get it back to default state, hit default all button. In my case, I usually use the background white option. You can choose whatever you like. Okay, and moving on to the draw tab, there is a inactivated object option. And we can check on whether to show element and node or not. As I explained before, inactivated elements are not to be shown in model. We can only see activated elements. However, if we check on this show element and node option, the edge lines of inactivated elements could remain. Let me check. So I will select some elements and click inactivate. As you see now, the edge lines of inactivated elements remain. Now, let me give you one question. Sorry. Okay. Let me give you one question. Actually, I received the same questions a lot before. As I mentioned before, we can switch on hidden icon to display the section shape of the frame. However, in the case of the plate, the thickness may not appear even if we switch on the hidden icon. For example, I will open another project. In this bridge, the circular section of the column is now properly visible, but the plate thickness of superstructure is not visible. Even though I switch on hidden option. So what should I do in this case? I want to display the plate thickness. Okay, let's go into the draw tab. If we select hidden option, there is a checking button, plane thickness. After checking on plane thickness and hit OK. Now, plate thickness is visible for us properly. I will give you one more useful option in the draw tab. In the current model, the color of all elements is the same, but you can change the color for each element type. Here is the element type color. If we select this and hit apply, as you see, the color is changed by the type of element. And we can also edit each color of element here. Here. We can change this color. Okay. Now, let me explain how to check input data using tree menu. In MIDAS Civiil, there is a tree menu on the left side. This is a tree menu. In the tree menu, we can see all of the work we have done in modeling, such as nodes, laws, and properties, boundary conditions, and so on. We can also select some items and attribute them to model. Let me try in MIDAS Civiil. In the work tab, static laws, once you display element beam laws, click display. The laws appear on the screen. In order to check properties of material, open properties, materials, and right click, select properties. So you can check all the material data and modify if you need. In case of boundary conditions, once you display, hexagon symbols appear on the surface. These symbols means that dx, dy, dz, rx, ry, and rz in clockwise directions, and green when fixed. So, for example, after we check off all of rotations, and hexagon symbol will be changed according to the properties. I will try selecting elements in the tree menu. Let's double click each each element. Here are truss, beam, plate, and we can select the elements which are relevant to materials. A572, A36, C4500. In the same way, we can select the elements which are relevant to sections. Like here. After selecting some elements in the model, we can easily assign the property to selected elements by drag and drop. For example, once you select the elements of A36, which are truss elements, and drag and drop A572 from tree menu onto the screen, like this. At result, the color of A36 has turned blue because it has not been assigned to any elements. And now, truss elements belong to A572. You can see. Okay, now I will talk about the tables in the tree menu. If we click some items such as material, there is a table buttons. And also, if we can also go into tables by moving to tables tab here, next to works tab, and structure, properties, and double-click material. Table window has been generated. This table has the same form with spreadsheet, so we can edit value. Like using spreadsheet. I will give you a tip of tree menu. Right-click on the black space in the upper bar and select tree menu 2 here. Tree menu 2. So that second tree menu appears on the right. If we have two tree menus on the both sides, one can be used as a workspace and the other can be used to any works at the same time. For example, if you want to create some items like this, new window appears covering the first tree menu, and we would have to close it to use the tree menu. In this case, if we have second tree menu here, it is possible to use both side window at the same time. This is very convenient for you. Okay, lastly, in this lesson, I will talk about display options of construction stage. We have a plan to focus on the analysis of construction stage in another lesson, but now I will briefly explore the matter along the construction stage. I will open another project, FCM. Okay, this is FCM bridge. In the upper left of the screen, Here are some icons of construction stage. In this icon, we can define the construction stage, and in the middle, we can see the model corresponding to each construction stage. And in this icon, we can define composite sections for each construction stage. On the lower left of tree menu, here, we can see the list of construction stage we have defined. Currently, CS1 and to CS16 are defined. The model we are looking at is selected as base. So because this is a base model, in other words, this is a completed model including all the work. So clicking the define icon will bring up a list of stage we have defined. Select CS1 and click modify show. Here we can see the duration of CS1 and the element, boundary, and load corresponding to CS1. Boundary, load. For example, in the element tab, there are several group lists of which group here, group 1-0 and group 2-0 are activated with an age of 15, and peer 1 and peer 2 are activated with an age of 100. Let's see relevant model for each stage. Return to the screen, click the base, and select CS1. Let's go to the group tab and click one by one. This part is group 1-0, and this part here is group 2-0, and peer 1 here, peer 2 are each like this. In the works tab of tree menu, only the items corresponding to CS1 are activated. So depending on our selection, the screen shows the corresponding model. And as you see, the tree menu items will be changed according to the model. You can see okay, this is pretty much it for today. If you have any questions, please click the question board on the dialog and send me questions. Okay, let me see. If you have any questions. Yeah. We will upload the PPT and model files on our website. So we will give you a mail regarding this webinar. Please see this MIDAS Academy, midasbridge.com, MIDAS Civiil seminar. We will give you a mail regarding this webinar, and we can you can download the model files and representation file. MCT commands we will deal with about it in the another lesson. So please wait. We will prepare and let you know. There is a question regarding that how to deal with element or link rotation. Okay, we as I said before, in lesson 2, we will deal with geometry modeling, and lesson 3, properties and material. Lesson 4, laws. So last link or regional link and how to edit and modify the element, we can deal with next lesson. Can you use the trial version of MIDAS software? Oh, okay. We will give you a mail and let you know how to get the trial version of MIDAS software. You can use it by your mail. How to change the default format of result values? Say I want values with 0 decimals format. Okay. I'll let you know. For example, I will open another project. Here is a beam load, and the load value is 1.0. You can modify the format of load value here. So if you change like this, the format is changed. Also here. Let me see other questions. How to create a structure using node? I will explain about them in lesson 2. Lesson 2 is regarding geometry modeling. Next lesson. When is the next lesson? Lesson 2. Lesson 2 will be 28th May. I think we have a plan. So we will let you know by your email. How about the construction stage input for curved box girder bridge? We will explain about them in the lessons in the lesson of construction stage. Sorry. How to zoom in, zoom out your main window? Do you mean mouse wheel? Mouse wheel. You can use mouse wheel, or you can use this icon. So you mean that window is here? I don't understand your questions exactly. Sorry. How to know the load display for the structure is what you need? Oh, good questions. This node is according to here. On the right, on the 여기 here. So beam loss is kilonewton per meter, and if you change to Newton, the load value is changing. Change it. Newton, kilonewton, by meter, by millimeter. Like this. You zoom in like this. How do you do that? Zoom in? Zoom. If you mouse wheel up, zoom in, and mouse wheel down, the model is zoomed out. Okay, let me see other questions. Displaying global and local axis for various load conditions. When to check local axis at what type of condition? I will explain them in lesson 2. Lesson 2 is geometry modeling. So please wait for lesson 2. If I only If I only want to show kilonewton, that means the icon besides the kilonewton millimeter will disappear. The unit of beam load should be kilonewton per meter. So it should include the length of load value. But if you in case of nodal load, the unit is kilonewton or newton, only force, not including the length of loads. Okay, any questions? How to display nodal masses? If you define already defined the nodal masses, you can use display button. So in this model, I have no nodal masses, but if you have nodal masses, you can easily use this button, display button. So the load show every time is kilonewton per meter? No. In only in the case of element beam load. If you use nodal load, the unit of nodal load is kilonewton or newton, only for the force. But if you use beam loads, the unit of it, the unit is kilonewton per meter. Can you convert the units of load at any time? Yeah, you can change the units at any time. Here, you can change whenever you want. Can you use the MIDAS trial version so that we can get hands on it? Yeah, we will let you know how to download trial version by email. So check your email later. Is there an option to choose the color of the element as you want? Yeah, there is a color options here. I will change. So here, color, element, beam, and wireframe, hidden edge. You can change the color of the beam, or you can change truss, global, Let me change. The color is changing. Can you place the time-dependent property or materials? Oh yeah, we will deal with the time-dependent property in lesson 3. Oh, lesson 3? I'm not sure. Lesson 3 is regarding regarding materials and section, but time-dependent material will be planned more advanced lesson in the future, I think. If there is one question. If I apply beam load and nodal load together, will nodal load be override? Not override. You can see each of load separately. So this is nodal load. This is beam load. Explain UCS by UCS and named UCS. Named UCS is you can create named UCS what you want. In case, for example, in case of using Wood-Arbor moment, you have to define some of domains. So in case of that, you have to create named UCS. Let me try another lesson. What is the difference between active and inactive? So let me see. If you select some elements, if you click active, only activated elements are to be shown. But if you select some elements and click inactivate, those elements will disappear. And inverse activation will inverse those elements. Okay. Difference between UCS and GCS. I will explain about them. Explain it in lesson 2, geometry modeling part. I will show simple example. Just a moment. So global axis is following these directions. You can this icon. Here is X, here is Y, and this direction is Z axis. But if you want to define your own coordinate system, you can define UCS instead of this axis. So I will let you know how to define UCS in another lesson. Does it mean that inactivated members will not be considered in the analysis? No. Inactivated members will be considered in the analysis as well as activated members. But you can modify or you can select particular members by using active or inactivate options. So this options is only about the display. Yeah, not related to the analysis. Okay, I'm sorry, but I have no time to answer all the questions. The rest of questions will be answered on the MIDAS Academy site within a week, and we will give you a mail regarding this lesson. So thank you all for watching this webinar. I hope you have a nice experience with MIDAS Civiil after this webinar. I hope we meet again in next lesson 2, geometry modeling using various functions. Okay, I wrap this webinar up. Thank you.